Hi everyone, today I have a pretty rare video for me, and that is a huge book haul. I know huge is relative, but I think 20 books is pretty big by most people's standards, especially for me, who 9 times out of 10 if you see me reading a book, it's from the library because I'm cheap. The fact I bought 20 books within a week-long period is pretty insane. Granted, I did spend under $50 on all of these, which I think is fairly impressive considering a lot of people spend well over that on just 5 or 6 books. I really do need to get around to doing a video on all the places that I buy books because there's no reason for you to be spending $20+ on a book. Before I get into the video though, I do want to extend a huge thank you to you guys. If you saw me tweeting about it last night, I did go ahead and hit 1,000 subscribers. I know everybody always says that it always blows their mind when they hit a certain point in their subscriber count, but it really does. I know 300 or so of you came over because of my old channel, but the fact I was able to hit 1,000 in just a few months, I can't even really fathom that, especially because considering on my old channel, I was putting up a lot more videos per week and it took me well over twice as long to get to that point. I know this is the time when someone normally would have a giveaway or some kind of special video planned, but because I didn't even realize that I was near 1,000 at all, I'm not the type of person who's always checking my subscriber count and like Xing it off on my channel when I get to, each stage. I just wasn't really aware, and I was planning on doing this video anyway, so maybe when I hit 1,500 or something like that, I will go ahead and do a giveaway. Let me know what type of giveaway you guys would like to see, because obviously if I'm giving something to you guys, I would want to know how you guys want it to go. So now I'll go ahead and get into the book haul. So out of all of the books that I bought, 13 of those were books 1 through 13 in the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, which I feel like I've brought that series up in every single one of my videos, so I'm sorry that I keep talking about it, but here they all are. Go through all of them, but I will list all of the titles in the bottom bar, but I'll just show you the ones that fell on the floor. The first one is Guilty Pleasures, and this is the first book in the series. I'm actually rereading this one right now. I've read up to books 14 or so, and I don't know if I'm even going to buy the rest because Laurel K. Hamilton just end the series. It just needs to stop and have a conclusive ending. It's something that sort of bugs me about it. But then we have Cerulean Sins. I'm just giving you an idea of what they look like. These are the mass paperback versions. Oh, that's sexy. Incubus Dreams. I've mentioned them before, so I'll be really brief, but this is an adult vampire series. The main character, Anita Blake, is an animator, meaning that she has the power to raise the dead, and in the first book at least, that is her main job. She raises people from the dead, mainly for court cases. Say someone's murdered, she'll raise them from the dead so that they can explain what happened, but it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it. Very dark, very gritty, all of that stuff. This is the one series I would recommend being a little older if you're reading it. Maybe try and be at least 15. I like how I say try and be 15 as if you can help that, but I would probably read them if I were younger, but that's just because I was sneaky and would read whatever I wanted. So definitely recommend these. I'm gonna have to make room in my bookshelf because these are gonna take up an entire row. One thing I should say though, I did buy all of these off of eBay, books 1 through 13 for around $26, I think, like that. Pretty good deal. Some of them aren't in the best shape, but it's not particularly important to me. It would be way too expensive to buy all of these brand new in hardback. Next chunk of books that I bought came from Goodwill, which I previously never even thought to go there to look for books. By chance I glanced over and I noticed half the store was essentially a bookstore. It was $1.50 I think for paperback, $2.50 or $3.50 for hardcover, and it was something like if you buy you could buy 3 for $4, 4 for $3, something like that, and then etc. for like 5 or 6, things like that. The only times I'll buy books that I haven't read that I'm not sure that I'll love are instances like this where it's just so cheap and I'm just interested in them, so I'll kind of splurge, at least in my mind. The first one I picked up is one that if you follow me on Goodreads, you know I'm reading right now, and that is Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale. I actually like this version better than the hardback one. I'm reading from the library right now anyway. Go ahead and buy this because I'm about halfway through the one I have from the library and I'm just enjoying it so much. I know it's going to be one that I want to buy. Then I picked up Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil by John Berendt. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce this. All I know is that this is about... Oh! I really like this bookmark that someone left in there. This is also a fairly nice copy. I thought that the wear of the books in Goodwill was actually pretty good. I got the impression these were all books people had maybe been gifted but they didn't want, so they just kind of turned it into Goodwill because they're all in very good condition. It takes place, yes, in Georgia, and it's just some murder mystery in high society. And I think this is a classic, or maybe it's not, and I've just heard a lot about it, but it's supposed to be very good, so interested in this. This book I actually have read, and that is The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follet. This thing is massive. It was part of Oprah's book club, I think. The only reason I know that is because I had read the book and then she interviewed him, but it was made into a mini-series on, was it HBO? Or no, I think it was on Showtime, and I watched that and it was very good. I'm very attracted to the actor who plays William, not William in the book, because if you've read the book, you know he's a psychotic rapist, but the actor's very attractive, and when the show was on, I actually did tweet him, and he tweeted me back, which was very excited. I think I said, I'm watching the show and eating cake, and he said, enjoy the cake, and I freaked out. I grabbed Running with Scissors by Augustus Burroughs. I had heard of this, I think, partially because a movie came out and it was supposed to be fairly good. I didn't see the movie, but I went ahead and looked it up since I went ahead and bought this, and I'll link the trailer below because I think I'm really going to enjoy the book, at least based off the trailer, because the trailer looks extremely funny and entertaining. JDMaxYA recommended this, so I'll go ahead and link his channel below. This is the true story of a boy growing up. His mother, I think, is bipolar, something along those lines, and she ends up giving him up to her psychiatrist, so it looks extremely entertaining and funny and witty. The last one I picked up from the library is The Other Boleyn Girl by Philippa Gregory. Someone, I think, recommended in the comments saying that they thought I might like her book, so I thought I would go ahead and grab this, and I've heard a lot about it. Hopefully I'll like it. I don't read a ton of historical fiction, but this seems like one that I would enjoy. Didn't like the movie though, so I think that's what turned me off to wanting to read this, but I've heard a lot about Philippa Gregory. I keep stuttering when I say Philippa. I've heard a lot about this from Elle's Glitter Gossip, and she just loves her books, so I'm interested to see if I like this. And finally is the only book that I spent full price on, and I have to do this quickly because I think I only have 30 seconds of memory left, so if it cuts off, I apologize. But that is A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This was one of those rare books where I felt that it was worth spending full price on. I think it was it was $17 because I think the exterior of this book is particularly important. I just wanted to make sure.